Hello from Bucharest, Romania. I'm Alina Serbanica and I'm welcoming you to the Esomar updates. Enjoy it!
Welcome to Esomar Update. This week Kim is joined by Alfonso to talk about the latest upcoming events. We are also exploring Esomar services how to improve business growth, and we do this together with Angela, Kalika and Claudio. Last but not least, Srikar meets with our member in focus, Nikki Lavoie, our Council Vice President from the United States and France.
SMR News, and this week I'm pleased to be joined by Alfonso, by Angela, by Kalika and Claudio, here to tell you all about the new SMR activities, but also to help you think about how you can use SMR business support services to help your business grow as we come out of COVID-19. So, pleased to have a wonderful guest group with me. But first, let me give the floor to Alfonso, who's going to tell you a little bit about the SMR activities taking place, some great events being planned, so be sure to join and be part of the community. Alfonso, welcome back to the show, and tell us more about these activities.
Thank you very much, Kim, for inviting me. I'm delighted to be with you again. And indeed, we are preparing so many projects that I will not explain all of them, but I will concentrate mainly on three. Basically, we have another installment of the Community Circles, the series Diversity and Inclusion, for the 22nd of June. So please join us if you are interested in this particular topic. The circle will explore how to achieve inclusive research design. All the details online in www.org/events. Now, next in the agenda, we have on the 23rd of June, our flagship event, Vision and Values. As you may know, this particular event is spread into three different episodes. One it is for Asia Pacific, one is for North America and Europe, and another one for Latin America in Spanish only. So you can explore right now the agenda of each of them, and please join us, register right away. Last but not least, to all the buyers of research or end clients, remember that the Research Effectiveness Award is currently open for submissions. So if you have a very interesting project depicting the ROI, please send us your outline by the 15th of July. So if you have any questions, please reach us out via our website. All the information is there. And from my side, that's all, and I will be very, very happy to hear the information that the rest of our colleagues will share on this update.
Thanks, Alfonso. And indeed, great to hear all the activities happening. So remember, everyone, smr.org/events. You get all of the activities that are coming up. And indeed, it's quite a lot always happening between the community circles, sponsored webinars, and those types of activities. And speaking of sponsored webinars, but also speaking about our general business support services, I'm pleased to be joined by Angela, who is actually the person who's really responsible for all of our services, which are designed to support you in reaching out the market and making sure that your business is recognized as a trusted global partner. So, Angela, welcome to the show. I believe it's the first time you're with us.
It is. Hi, Kim.
Tell us more about all these services that you're doing? Because I know that a lot of companies are really rely on you to get the word out about their new products and services.
Oh, absolutely, Kim. And we are getting amazing support from our sponsors around the world, which is helping us, of course, to develop this content that Alfonso has been talking about, and of course, a whole lot more as well. In essence, Kim, it's very simple. We work in two ways, taking the content that SMR produces and creating sponsorship opportunities inside that content. And the second way in which we work is that our sponsors give us their own content, and we then push it out to our network, get everybody excited about it, people register, and they're able to present some of the tools, thinking, methods that are part of their business offer. We have a huge amount of them coming up. I'm just going to mention a few that are sort of top of mind. Tomorrow, as an example, we have strategy analytics that will be presenting navigating the fear factor in consumer choice. Really fascinating piece that is looking at how we're going to be coming out of COVID. We're also doing a session with Stravito, looking at the increased insights ROI with knowledge management. So really looking at how you can arrange your knowledge in a better way. And then next week at the beginning, we have Remesh, who will be looking at the future of CPG is sustainable. So another fascinating topic. Again, as Alfonso said, have a look at esomar.org in the events section. And there are literally a few different topics that are tackled every week. So well worth having a closer look.
And Angela, so why are these companies coming to Esomar? What kind of service do you provide? Is it sort of, they just have to tell you, I'm interested in this topic, run away and do everything for me? Or is there a partnership model that kind of developed? How do you work with companies who are interested in making use of these kinds of services?
Yeah, it's very much of a partnership, Kim. Mostly we get to understand what it is that our partners, our sponsors are looking for, who it is they're looking to speak to, and we help and guide them with content and topics and various opportunities which will help them to reach the market that they're looking to attract. So it's very much a partnership. Generally, if our partners are producing the content, then of course we're there to support, but that actual content is produced on their side. Whereas, of course, if they're inside sponsored content inside our own events, then Esomar is producing the majority of that content. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. And is it only webinars that we support people with, or are there also other things that they can basically ask Esomar to help them out with in terms of their marketing support or thought leadership, or there are different kind of models and channels that we use for
Yes,
them?
we have a number of channels. For 2021, everything is online for Esomar as a global organization. While we're starting to see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel with this crisis, clearly we're not quite there yet on a global scale. And we have a number of different platforms that we use. We have a media channel, which is, of course, our online magazine Research World. And there, again, you're able to put your banners, advertise your products, everything that you would expect, shall we say, from an online magazine. Advertorials, podcasts, videos, it's really quite extensive. Of course, we have the digital events channel as well, but we have a couple of other channels which we use, which start to get a little bit outside of sort of one-to-many. So things like, for instance, what we call a round table, where you can take a discussion topic and present it to the industry as well. And then instead of looking for a very large audience, you look for a very specific audience where you can exchange information in a more one-to-one way. So to be honest, we're also always open to new ideas, and sometimes our partners come up with some really cool stuff that we try and we give it a go and we see how it works, and we work together very closely, certainly over the last 12 to 18 months while we've all been faced with a situation which we certainly didn't expect in the most cases, to help the industry as much as we possibly can to be able to put their offering out there.
Angela, a huge thanks for sharing with us all of this information. So as you can see, a wide breadth of services ready and willing to support you in whatever way you need. And Angela, if you want to reach Angela, actually, you can reach her at business@esomar.org. She will be able to help, package up the right services to really reach your business objectives. So Angela, huge thanks for sharing with us how you work and what you work on and how lots of companies are making use of your
Fabulous.
services.
Thank you, Kim.
Thanks, Angela. And then we're going to move on straight on to Kalika, who's currently talking to us about another service that Esomar provides, which is the directory, one of our most used service and also one of the best ways for you as an organization to get the word out about yourself and the services that you offer and to get requests for proposals. But Kalika, perhaps you can tell us a bit more about it, as you're really the lady and the magician behind the house, which makes the directory run. So Kalika, welcome to the show. And can you tell us more about how companies are using the directory these days?
Thank you, Kim. I'm delighted to be a part of this session today. So about the directory, Esomar directory helps you find data, research, analytics, inside companies, suppliers, consultants, as well as providers of related services. And indeed, it's the industry's first and largest resource of international market research, data, inside companies, and professionals who attracts international marketers, market research professionals, and research clients that are actively seeking assistance on research projects or agencies to build long-term relationships. So why companies are looking forward to be listed on the directory is that all organizations and individuals included in the directory are SOMAR members or employ at least one member in the office. So it gives a reassurance to the buyers of research services that the companies listed conform to the highest professional standards and have undersigned to abide by the ICC SOMAR International Code on Market Research, Social and Opinion Research, and Data Analytics. So on the buyer side, if I say, the buyers are coming to look forward for the kind of companies who are listed, and it's basically the potential clients gets the assurance and confidence that they are required to pursue any business and partnership with the research providers listed on the directory, and they haven't assigned the code, the ICC SOMAR International Code. So companies feel proud to be a part of the SOMAR's larger the community, as it reflects their professionalism and commitment to ethical practices and international guidelines.
It's amazing, Kalika, and I know that indeed the ICC SMR code protection is quite important in the sense that if you do run into problems with that project, you can really reach out to SMR and we can investigate to see if actually the research was conducted in accordance with that code, and if necessary, we can always impose disciplinary measures. So it does indeed provide that extra reassurance above and beyond what you can expect from the courts. So I think that's really a very powerful added value to working with an organization that's listed in the directory, I guess.
Yes, and the companies who promotes themselves through directory, they get to establish the business partnerships, expand their business, generate more leads and visibility for their company.
Absolutely. And do you have out of the people that have listed, do you know of any really good success stories, I guess, which we can point to say, this company, if they hadn't listed on the directory, they probably would not have been as big as they are today?
Sure. I would name few. One of them could be Haystack Consultings, Netherlands. One of them is GFK. But I would just give an overview that these the big companies, they are listed on our directory, and they are making the most out of it because they've been using our SOMAR directories features. To the extent to have a greater visibility. For exposure and getting more business and visibility for their companies. Yeah, and also on the buyer side, we have like Coca-Cola and other companies who are coming forward to find the trusted business partners on SOMAR directory.
Yes, it's a really powerful meeting point and as you hear from Kalika, of big brands which are really leaning on this service to make sure that they're working with trusted partners. So, Kalika, a huge thanks for that. If people are interested in the directory, I suppose they can reach out to you in order to find out a bit more by contacting directory@esomar.org?
Yes, indeed.
Perfect. So you've heard from us, directory@esomar.org if you want to get listed. And really, don't miss out on the opportunity to work with such amazing companies as the ones that Kalika has just been mentioning. Now, last but not least, I want to welcome also Claudio to talk a little bit about SMR Plus, which is our additional service providing you support in terms of your legal compliance. And when it comes to legal compliance, you know that, for example, legislations like GDPR, if you don't comply, you end up with very big fines. So being able to avoid those is certainly something which is useful for the bottom line of the business. So Claudio, can you tell us a little bit more about SMR Plus and how that kind of supports all of the work that Angela and Kalika are doing to promote and ensure business growth?
Hi, Kim. Yes, sure. GDPR and fine is a combination that we all hear about very, very often. Everyone is afraid of GDPR because of fines. But what we know in reality is that being compliant with GDPR helps not only to avoid these huge fines that we always hear about, but also to get an advantage over those who don't comply with GDPR. Complying with GDPR is very strategic asset for anyone, and of course for market research as well. So what we do with the SMR Plus program is we not only assist those who are starting to build up their privacy regime, their privacy program from scratch, but also those who might have very niche question. And we are able to do that. We are able to do that because we can rely on a community of experts who've been working in market research for decades. So we'll be able to assist every small niche issue. On the permanent question on are we a data controller, a joint controller, processor, and moreover, we have a webinar in the pipeline, which we hope will be available in the next month or so. So any kind of questions, is small or big, about GDPR, but also CCPA and any other privacy legislation, feel free to approach us. And not only will provide consultancy, but also documents and all the kind of guidance you might need. Talking about privacy, and specifically talking about future of privacy, or what we can imagine to be the future of privacy in Europe, I would like to highlight that the ICO, so the British DPA, is launching a call for review on their guidance on anonymization, pseudonymization, and privacy-enhancing technologies, the so-called PTE, and which will end in November 2021, and we will be more than willing to participate, and we are looking forward to receiving feedback and opinions from everyone who would like their voice and their opinions to be heard by the ICO before the release of this guidance.
Yeah, I guess it's really important what you're saying here. So Esomar Plus isn't just answering questions, but it can really also be consultancy, it can be training, it can really also be, benefiting from direct access to data protection authorities to get your pain points heard, I guess, in essence. So I think it's quite a varied program of activities for companies.
Yes, I would say it's a direct line with regulators as well. It's not only preventive, it's not only a risk-based kind of activity, but it really could allow our members to be directly in touch with those who enforce the rules, but also those who draft it.
So a huge thanks, Angela, a huge thanks, Claudio, a huge thanks, Kalika and Alfonso, for telling us a bit more about Esomar news and activities. And I hope through their discussions, you've been able to hear kind of how the different services really come together to provide you a comprehensive package to support your business, both in terms of growth and in terms of compliance. Guys, ladies, a huge thanks for joining me today to tell us all about what's happening at Esomar.
So hello and welcome to another installment of our member focus segment. I'm Shrika Govindaraju once again, and I'm very happy today to be joined by Nikki Lavoie. Nikki, thanks for joining us. And just to start, can you perhaps introduce yourself? What do you do in the industry, and your connection to Esomar as well?
Sure. Yeah, so I'm Nikki. I run an agency called MindSpark Research International, which is a user and consumer insights agency, qual-led. And my connection to Esomar is very deep and historic. I've been an Esomar member for just over 10 years now. I attended my first Esomar Congress in Athens in 2010, and then I was hooked and started to become more and more involved over the years. And here I am now as VP of Council.
Oh, congratulations. That's a recent appointment.
Thank you. Yes.
I guess you said you work in research and you're based in France. So currently, how is research being done in France? Because it's been some challenging times for researchers around the world. So how have you been handling, conducting research in this time?
Yeah, well, I think it's similar here to how it's been a lot of places. There's a focus on remote, especially, I'm qualitative led at this point. So the qualitative research is still focused on remote. So we're still doing a lot of kind of interviews exactly like this with our participants. But there are starting to be some requests and some opportunities to do things more face to face, especially because France has been really kicking up their vaccine rollout. So normally by fall, there should be a lot of people who are able to meet face-to-face for the first time in a while. So that will be interesting.
Are you looking forward to getting back to doing things in person, or do you feel the shift to, this kind of virtual conversation is here to stay?
A bit of both, actually, to be
Yeah.
honest. I think for me, being able to do conversations remotely is really useful. I think
Mm.
we are able to include more people that way, perhaps older people, people with different abilities who may not have an easy time coming to a central location or a facility. It'll be great to stay in touch with people like that. I think it will definitely be good to start doing face-to-face stuff again. There's certain things, especially we do a lot of workshops, and workshops in person are so much more energetic
Yeah.
and powerful than they are virtually. Even the best of workshops virtually, which can be great, it feels like something is missing. So I
Hmm.
guess in terms of looking forward to face to face, I would say I am, but I'm also looking forward to being a bit more discerning. I think
Mm.
we tended to assume that everything had to be face to face before. We were making every little meeting, every little interview, every little reason to be face to face. And I think now, hopefully, there will be a bit more of a balance.
Excellent. And you mentioned that you're now VP on the Esomar Council. So I'm really curious to know, what initiatives are you looking forward to working with or being part of from Esomar this year, whether it's in your position on the council or perhaps other activities that are going on as well. What has you excited that's coming up?
Yeah. Well, that's a really hard question to answer because realistically, I need to reel myself in because there's a lot of things that I'm excited about. I need to make sure I don't spread myself too thin. But three specific initiatives that I'm working on with some of the kind of like subcommittees that we're creating within the council. One is on the younger folks in our industry.
Hmm.
So students, grads, young professionals in general, just trying to make sure that, I mean, they are the future of our industry. So just
Yeah.
trying to make sure that not only are we focusing on curating and cultivating them so that we've got people to take over what we're doing, but also listening to them and making
Hmm.
sure that we're hearing what's interesting to them and what are the topics that they find to be important. So that's one. Definitely, we can't miss out any longer on diversity and inclusion topics. So that's one of the big things that I'm hoping to bring more to the forefront this year. And then as well, qual and UX research. So SMR has always had a really passionate qualitative community and trying to make sure that their voices are elevated. And
Hmm.
yeah, I do a lot of work in user research specifically, and I'm trying to kind of pull some of those user researchers over into understanding what are all the great benefits of SMR.
Fantastic. And I guess just a little add in from my side is that, talking about young researchers and the future research in particular, we also have Research Got Talent that's
Yep,
running this year, which again, we're trying to shine a light on the next generation of talent in the industry. I'm
exactly.
sure we're going to have lots of support within the SMR community and from the council for that as well.
Yes, for sure.
And I guess as a little and finally question, we've been speaking to members from all over the world, and it's great to see the real geographic spread of SMR members, and everyone brings their own culture, their own experiences. So I know you're based in France, so this might be a very tricky question, but you can also draw on your American side if you'd like. What food from your country or your country where you live or where you're from do you think everyone should try?
Well, that's a difficult question to answer as an American because no one thinks of American food as like, oh, this is something that I'm going to try. Although I will say America in and of itself has some really great food, but basically what we do is we borrow from other cultural foods and we just try to like make it bigger.
Yeah,
But yeah, so I would say in France, if there's a thing you have to try, that's really difficult because there's so many great, French staples. But I would
we
say
have the
my
classics.
favorite dessert,
Hmm.
French dessert, is the tarte aux fraises.
Ooh.
It's a strawberry tart, and the way they do it here, it's not really like I've had it anywhere else in the world. So if you're going to be in Paris anytime soon, I would highly recommend trying a tarte aux fraises.
Well, it's just about lunchtime and Paris isn't too far away, so I think I might have to make my way over there.
Hop on the train.
I'll be there pretty soon. Nikki, thank you so much for taking the time. It was great chatting.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks so much.